I'm obviously very humbled to be here. I had the opportunity to address the Board of Trustees just a brief while ago, and I know some of you were in the room at the time, so I apologize for repeating this, but I think it's important to say this to this audience on this day. It means so much to me to be offered this opportunity to continue to lead this great institution. Because as many of you may not know, my mom was a secretary at Temple for 40 years. So in addition to my time here, she was here as when I was a child growing up. Temple has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. So to be given this honor at this time means more than I could probably put into words. It is going to be my sincere promise to do the best I can in this role, to continue the university on the trajectory it is on. This is a great place. I always call Temple sticky. People come here and they think they're going to be here for a short period of time, and then they look up 40 years later, and here we still are. And it's not just me, it's because of the kind of place this is. So I am very grateful for this opportunity. As you heard, I've got priorities. I'm going to be focusing on safety. I'm going to be focusing on enrollment. But my way of starting and my way of leading is going to be to listen. So I look forward to leading the university, but leading in collaboration with our many partners, our students, our faculty, our administrators, our staff, and the members of the surrounding community. I look forward to engaging with all of them and listening to what they have to say. So thank you. Happy to take a couple questions.
Ms. Epps, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the role. My first question, from my understanding, you were planning on retiring. Why did you take this role?
Yeah, I turned in my retirement papers. That's actually true. And the reason that I did is it's a job of service. I don't think that anyone, given the challenges that Temple is facing right now, would say, well, that's what I want to do. That's what I was here to do. But when asked to serve, I said, of course. If people think that I can be helpful now, I couldn't be happier to try.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I guess, was this, you've been here for so long, was it something you always wanted to get some convincing and have it kind of be your role?
So, no, this is not something I always wanted. It isn't that I didn't want it. I grew up in a time when girls weren't encouraged to dream this big, and I really hope that one of the things I can continue to do is inspire young people coming behind me to dream about what you might want to do. I wish I had thought about this earlier in my career, not just this role at Temple, but I think I am a good leader, and I'm sorry that I didn't think about it sooner. And the second part of your question was, what are my goals?
How do you view your role?
How do I view my role here? I view my role, at least this is what I was told by the trustees and the special committee, I'm not just here to be a caretaker. I am here to continue leading the university, continuing the work of the university, continuing to try to meet the challenges that the university faces. And I will do that. And on the other hand, I'm well aware, I'm not going to be here forever. And there's a difference, but I would like to think at the end of my time here that I could look back and feel that I contributed. And if I could say that, I would be happy.
What is your first plan of attack to help make sure kids and faculty are safe on and around campus?
My first plan of attack is to start tomorrow, listening and meeting with people who can bring me up to speed. There are areas here where I had some involvement as a provost, and then there are areas where I didn't. Looking over at Arthur Johnson. And so there are things that I will be learning for the first time in this role, although I was a faculty athletic rep to the NCAA, so it's not like I'm without some credibility in the athletic world. But my point is that there are some things, in all of those things, I need to be brought up to speed first in April of 2023. The focus will be safety and enrollment. And the question that I will be asking is, what are we doing? What else might we be doing? Most importantly, with whom else might I confer and and listen so that we can come up with a comprehensive plan moving forward so that our students and their parents will feel that this is a safe place for them to go to school.
Acting President, would you consider being in consideration as full current president?
I'm not going to be a candidate. Yes, ma'am.
What's the message you would like to send to the student body and the other staff and faculty at Temple?
The message I'd like to send to the students and the faculty is come join with me on this continued wonderful journey. I have loved being around students. When I was the provost, one of the things that I did occasionally, I'm looking back at my then deputy provost, WGS, and I dragged her around occasionally. We'd go to Johnson Park Hall and just go to a table that had a couple of extra seats and say, can we join you? And of course, they're like, who are these people? But the idea was to try to get to know students and to hear from them. Some of you will know, I just met Gianni today, and one of the questions I always ask is like, where'd you grow up? And tell me about yourself, and what's your major? And so I would like students to know that I'm interested in them and I care about them. On a genuine basis. I want to make sure that they love this place in the way that prior students did. I'm really sensitive to the interrupted experience that COVID brought, so I hope we can get back to the place. I used to talk about taking a little bit of Temple and Broad Street in your heart. It'll be there with you forever. I want that to be true for our students. I want that to be true for our faculty. I want them to know that I've been a faculty member for 38 years, so I get that piece. And I understand that, faculty look at administrators, we come and go more quickly than they do. And so I understand that there is work to be done with the faculty to make sure that they feel this is a place they want to stay. I don't want faculty to come here and think that this is a way station for them to just leap to a different place. I want them to catch that same Temple love that other people here have. Yes, ma'am.
First of all, as an alumni, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
What does success look like for you? I know this is the first day on the job, but when you leave this position to move on, what does success look like?
To me, success looks like we look back at the university a year from now. We all feel that it is calmer and happier and a little less stressed. I think that is the kind of thing that would be one characteristic. I also would like people to think that we've put this puppy back in drive, to put it that way, that we are moving forward. And I can't do more than a year's worth in a year. So I'm not going to be able to spin this battleship entirely around, but I'd like to think that people would feel a sense of movement and momentum and enthusiasm and the sense of excitement that would make them realize why people love this place.
Briefly talk about who came to whom about you taking on this role and when that conversation was had.
Question was who came to whom and when. Not that long ago. I mean, like last week. I think, the special committee, as you read in the newspaper, went on a listening tour to talk to a range of people in the community to get an idea about the way the university should think of itself and moving forward. I was one of those people that was asked, like, so what do you think? What are your ideas? In that conversation, I was asked whether this would be something I would consider. And at that moment, I didn't say, oh yeah, sure, pick me. I think I probably said something like, I would always serve this university if that was the call, but I also understand if you would move in a different direction. So I didn't campaign for this, but I certainly signaled then, as I want to signal today, my willingness to help if people think I can, and I'm really grateful to have been given this opportunity. But I wanted the trustees to really figure out what they thought the best next step was without being certain that it was me.
Just in these past 38 years, going through a number of administrations, what do you take from that, from your own experience and looking at other presidents here at Temple that you want to apply in your year?
The question was sort of looking at some of the other presidents with whom I have worked. Some of them more closely than others, because I wasn't a dean of the law school until 2008 or provost until 2016. I'd like to take a range of characteristics, a love of this institution and a passion for it. I would like to take just personal leadership qualities. I remember at one point when I was dean of the law school and I was talking to the then provost, and I asked her for something, who knows now what that was, and she said, no, I don't think that's going to work. And I said, let me ask you to rethink about that. And I said a couple things more, and she said, I get it, yes. And I wanted to be that kind of leader that would always be willing to have someone say, could you rethink what you just decided? I'd like to think that I am a good listener. I'd like to think that I will be a good face of this place. One of the things that I think has been true for my role already in the city is that there are constituencies where I've been known. I've got a lot of friends here, partly through professional associations. Now I've got sort of a different title, and I just have to joke around. My current title until a minute ago was Special Assistant to the President, and I was thinking Special Assistant to myself. But the point I want to make is that in that role, I was given the opportunity to represent Temple in a variety of places out in the city. And I'd like to carry on that work. I would like people, when they think about Temple, to think about it in a positive way. And if I can contribute to that, that would be something I would want to do.
How are you going to use your law background to implement it in the safety of students and working with law enforcement on Temple's campus and also the city of Philadelphia's police department?
Thank you for that question. How am I going to use my law background in trying to implement issues of safety? For those of you who don't know, and that's probably not many of you because you probably read my bio today, but I used to be a prosecutor, I used to be an assistant U.S. attorney, I used to work with law enforcement, and so I feel like I understand the issues that confront law enforcement. I've had 2 appointed positions in the city government in terms of policing and things like that, so I feel like I understand the pulls and tugs that go along with that. I understand the importance of talking to a community. You can't just walk in as the person with the gun and say, here's how things are going to be. So I'd like to think that my experience will help. I also think that one of the pleasures about being a lawyer, there are many, but one of them is we're trained to ask what kind of world we might envision. And we can then enlist support to move towards things that we think would make a better world. And this is exactly what's needed here. Not me coming in and go, here's a solution. Me coming in and saying, like, what might we do to make this a better issue, to make safety not the first thing people are now thinking about. And as I said earlier, sort of engaging with members of the community and other parts of the stakeholders and stakeholder groups to do that. I think my law training makes me well suited to do that. Thank you so much, everybody.